Welcome back to Starting a Business Simplified. I'm your host, Suzy Wraines. And in this episode, I want to get real. Yes, real. Starting a business has its challenges, it has its rewards. But what I want to cover in this episode is the one thing that you can do to stay in the business owner's zone, to stay in that zone that makes you unstoppable. So, in this episode, I'm going to talk to you about time and consistency, and I'm going to talk to you about doing the work. There are so many things out there right now talking in the global internet world for how manifestation and visualization and bring everything into your world by meditating and just thinking about it and focusing on it, and it'll just happen. And I want to tell you, I believe that too. And I also believe that you must take inspired action. You must do the work. And I'm calling it work, but I want to say that it's actually energy that you're expending. So it may feel like work or feel like I don't even like that word work. So I'm going to talk about how what we say really affects what happens in our world. So when it comes to thinking about the tasks that are required, the inspired action that's required in order to be a small business owner, that is a lot of energy expended. I'm going to compare that to if you're coming from a medical clinical job where you're working 12-hour shifts, you know you're expending energy. You know you are physically, mentally, and emotionally exhausted at the end of the day. Both of them expend energy. Both of them require, if we're going to use the term work, both of them require expending energy and having to rest and replenish afterwards. Being a small business owner does not take that away. I'm going to get real here and say being a small business owner does not take away the inspired action piece. It does not take away the physically getting up in the morning and following the plan that you've set out to have a successful business. You're required to take action, just like you're required when you work for somebody else to get up in the morning and go to that job and take action. The difference between the two is that when you are a small business owner, you are the boss. You get to choose when you work, how much you work, and how often you do things. You still have to expend energy. You still have to take action. And the reason that I bring this up is because I've been hearing it from other entrepreneurs and I've heard it from clients, and I've had to get real with them and say straight to them, how bad do you want your business to be successful? How bad do you want this? Is there enough drive and passion in you that's going to allow you to take the action that's required to be successful? Because if it's not there, you're not going to do it. I had to put into my affirmations. I have it recorded in an audio so that I listen to it all the time, that I am an action taker. I am a decision maker. I take inspired action every day in order to reprogram from the mindset of working for somebody else. Here's what happens. When you work for somebody else, they take the burden of having to be successful. That person that you work for, if you're coming from a hospital, the hospital has the burden of being successful, not you, not you as the employee. You just go to work and you take the responsibility of doing what it is they've told you they needed you to do. That's the only responsibility that you have. When you walk away and go home and have dinner with your family, or you come home in the morning after a graveyard shift, you leave the success of the hospital behind. You don't even have to think about that. As a small business owner, you are responsible for the success of your business. That is the responsibility that you take on to move forward with a combination of meditation, manifestation, visualization, inspired action, doing the work that is required to be successful, showing up for your business. That is your responsibility. And if you're not ready to take on the responsibility, guess what? That's okay. You don't have to. But I want to tell you, as a business owner, if you want to be an entrepreneur, you want to have a small business that you run and you manage and you're in charge of, I'm going to tell you, you're going to have to expend energy. You are going to have to take inspired action. You're going to have to do things that you might not necessarily enjoy doing, but you get to choose. When I coach people on where they want to show up for marketing, I ask them, where do you want to show up? You don't have to follow what everybody else is doing to be successful. You can be successful being you, showing up where you enjoy showing up, being where you like being. The key to it is talking about who you are and what you do, letting the world know what your business is about so that while you are bowling or horseback riding or running along the beach or in a restaurant with people, when they ask you, so what do you do? You're sharing that with them in an environment that you love being in. And you're just like, hey, I'm a small business owner. I'm Suzy Wraines and I have a podcast and I help people start a small business. I work with them on their business foundation. And guess what? Those people that I'm interacting with in the environment that I want to be in, they're either going to say, oh, I need to talk to you because I'm thinking about starting a business, or they're going to say, hey, I know somebody who needs to talk to you. So you get to be you and make decisions for how you want your business to grow and to evolve and be. But I'm not going to sugarcoat it and tell you that you don't have to do anything. I'm not going to sugarcoat it and say, you don't have to expend any energy. It's going to be easy. It's no big deal. You know how hard I work every single day? I'm doing this podcast right now. This is an inspired action. I was just hanging around. It's my day off. I'm going to tell you guys that. I'm going to be completely transparent. Today is my day off. I normally don't do any work today. I take the day, I relax, I read, I enjoy my animals, all the beautiful things that I love to do when I'm not working. And guess what? I was inspired to hit record because of the conversations I've been having. And now I got this intuitive hit to just be like, people need to hear this. If you want to be a business owner, I'm going to tell you, it's going to require energy. You will have to take action and you will have to be consistently doing it. There's the key. When you work for somebody else, they don't tell you come to work whenever you feel like it. They don't say, oh, you can just come in once a week, unless that's your job. And that's literally what you've agreed to. But if you're a full-time employee working 40 hours plus a week, your employer expects you to come to work at the time they tell you they need you to be at work. The same should be in your business. You have to be consistent with showing up and taking action. You have to give it time in the consistency. For example, I always use myself as an example. It's the best example that I know. This podcast has been running for over a year now, and I have put in the time. I'm recording right now because I'm inspired. I'm like, ooh, this is a topic I got to share. Hit record. Let's get it out there. People need to hear this. You that are listening right now need to hear this message. I'm putting the time in and I'm being consistent. Every Tuesday, a podcast drops for you as the listener to hear. Every Tuesday. I will not miss a Tuesday. I can schedule them out, which is beautiful because then I can do them when I feel like it and then just schedule it out. I'm recording this one right now. It's probably going to go out in a month or so. That's okay. I'm in charge. I'm the boss. That doesn't take away the fact that I have to put in time and consistency with what it is that I'm doing. That's going to create success. And over time, more and more people are going to hear me. More and more people are going to resonate and they're going to go, wow, she's saying stuff that I need to hear. And oh, I need to talk to her. Or, hey, I need to tell my friend about her because I know she wants to start a business and Suzy's doing an amazing thing over here and I need to connect them. That's how it works. It's within time and consistency, telling people who you are and what you do in a way that you enjoy, what it is that you enjoy doing in a capacity, but being consistent and doing it over time. That is the message that I really want to get out today. It's taking those actions consistently over time. So I always like to tell you something to take away from the podcast episodes that I do. And this episode is no different. What I would love for you to do, challenge yourself with this. Pick one thing about starting a business. If you're starting one, if you're thinking about starting one, maybe you've been in business for a year, a couple years, and you just want to implement something new. Pick one thing that is pertaining to your business that you can commit to being consistent doing, putting the time in consistently for the next 12 months. We're in a new year right now, and I'm going to challenge you. Pick something and tell yourself, I'm going to do this consistently, whatever time frame that is, for the next 12 months in my business. And if you feel compelled, and I'm going to tell you that this works for me, track it. Make sure there's a way to track what you're doing. What impact is happening over time with you being consistent? So, for example, my podcast, I've been doing it for a year and I'm committed to doing it another year. You're going to hear me for another 12 months. For those of you that like listening, thank you. Yay. I love it. For those of you you don't have to. It's totally up to you. But I'm going to be here consistently every Tuesday with a new episode for the next 12 months. But I have a way I use Spotify for podcasting, and I can see the progress that I'm making with my episodes. So find a way to track it. I think that would be a beautiful way for you to be encouraged. Know that the time you're putting in is valuable and it's actually moving you forward. Beautiful to track things. So that is what I have for you today. And I would love if you would comment on this episode. For those of you that watch this on YouTube, put in the comments, what are you committing to have consistency with for the next 12 months? I would love to hear what people are doing. And I'm committing to you to be here every Tuesday for the next 12 months. So you're going to see me every Tuesday for the next 12 months. So as always, keep it simple.